And if you are in the UK, 0330-332-6541, or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also check us out on Love 101 FM Facebook Live and YouTube Live in the main watch today. Jamaica 60. The value of patois to evangelizing. In the second watch, garbage going private? That's the question. Now, a social media question we ask. In which language would you prefer to hear sermons? Patois or English? Share your responses on our Facebook or YouTube Love 100 from Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp comments and voice notes to 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your comments later on the program, but first, here's I quote.
I quote this morning, if you no mash ants, you're not finding guts. If you do not smash an ant, it is impossible for you to find its guts. This means it is only when you are closely involved with some persons that you are able to really know them. Or if one is not provoked, it is impossible to know the extent of his or her fury. Good morning.
Deidre, I'm not going to mash your hands.
And I'm not going to mash yours.
What an interesting Jamaican proverb. How are you doing,
Very.
Deidre?
I am doing well. How are you?
I am well, I am well. So the proverb for today, nobody must mash anybody's hands.
But sometimes if you don't, you won't know the metal of the man.
No, peace, 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 peace. Love, 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 love,
Peace and
love.
love.
The main watch. We'll be back after this break.
What is love? Love is what my mom did to raise me right. I guess that's why the best dressed chicken is the only chicken in my home. It's grown with no antibiotics ever, so that means it was raised right too. The only thing I can't figure out is what mom does to give it that little extra love. The best dressed chicken is simply the best chicken. If anyone's going to add something to my best dressed chicken, it's going to be me.
This is your moment.
No antibiotics ever is another way the best dressed chicken makes life delicious. Look for our no antibiotics ever promise on every package.
Shake and go with true shake. Shake and go. Grab a true shake and go. When me have to put in the work, but I'm moving slow. Grab a true shake and go. School time and not joke time. Have to study hard, brain full time. Grab a true shake and go. When we up in the gym, we have to stay healthy and fit. Grab a true shake and go. Shake and go with True Shake. Packed with 9 grams of protein, 24 key vitamins and minerals to keep you going. Grab a true shake and go.
Love 101 presents Facts on Monkeypox. The monkeypox virus comes from the same family of viruses as smallpox, but it is not related to chickenpox. Common symptoms of monkeypox are fever, headache, muscle aches, and swollen lymph nodes. Monkeypox also causes a rash that looks like raised bumps on the skin. The virus typically spreads through bodily fluids or by touching the rash of someone who has monkeypox. Animals can also pass the virus to humans either by being scratched or bitten by the animal or by preparing, eating meat, or using products from an infected animal. That was Facts on Monkeypox, presented by Love 101 FM.
Monkeypox is in Jamaica. If you are experiencing fever, intense headache, muscle aches, and/or rash on the skin, you must isolate immediately and call ahead to your health center or doctor before visiting. All members of the public should wear a mask, frequently wash hands, and practice physical distancing. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. It has been indicated or said that there's no one way to evangelize. And of course, the thought is that it is the heart, the only language of the heart is what really matters. Only the language of the heart is what really matters. Now, as Jamaica celebrates its 60 years of political independence, there is that what some would call our heart language, the Jamaican language. Previously, it was just referred to as patois, broken English. Well, we are where we are now. Can one properly evangelize to someone in Jamaica if you don't communicate with them in a way that they can really understand, rather than using words or phrases that are unfamiliar to them? We have online this morning to look at this Joanne Richards Goff. She's an ethno-doxologist. We also have Reverend Dr. Stevenson Samuels, senior pastor of the Waltham Park New Testament Church of God and the chaplain of the University of Technology, Jamaica. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning. Giving thanks.
Great.
Morning, my
Good
brother.
to be on.
Great, Dr. Stevenson
It's good
Samuels.
to be on with an expert, so I'm feeling very comfortable.
The ethno-doxologist is indeed with us, yes? Well, let's just jump right into that, because a couple of things come to mind when I think of ethno-doxology. First of all, what is it? And a controversial one here, throwing a curveball at you, Joanne Richards Goff.
Mhm.
How do you prevent syncretism when applying ethno-doxology? If I'm going to throw an even
Wow.
bigger curveball.
Yes.
Some may already argue that many societies have syncretism. Right here in Western society,
Yes.
we talk a lot about Santa Claus when we celebrate the birth of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Santa Claus has nothing to do with the birth of Christ. And we love to talk about, well, maybe not so much Easter bunnies and Easter eggs anymore, but in a country like Jamaica, we like the bun and cheese and so forth. What does that have to do with Good Friday? And for those who may not know, syncretism has something to do with well, let me not go there necessarily, but the whole matter of the amalgamation or attempted amalgamation of different religions, cultures, or schools of thought. That's a definition I got off the internet in terms of what syncretism refers to. It's a very loaded question, Joanne Richards Goff. Unravel it for us, please.
Okay, so here is my issue with the very loaded questions, which I am definitely prepared to answer. My issue is that we are here to talk about the value of using the Jamaican language
Let me tell you why I went there.
evangelism.
Let me tell you why I went there. Because it is very difficult to separate language sometimes from culture, isn't it?
It's impossible.
That is why I started there. But anyway, continue to answer the question.
So ethnodoxology. As an ethnodoxologist, what I do is to promote, facilitate, help people, encourage people in using their own cultural expressions in worship, as in their own language, first of all, and other artistic expressions, the music, the dance, the drama, all of that, so that we are coming to God as we are, in our own skins, as it were, using our real selves to worship our real God.
Understood.
How do we avoid syncretism? You know, I in my studies, I came across, I did some reading from a fellow ethnodoxologist before the word was created, who spoke about syncretism, defining it in this way, that it is anything that you are going to use to replace the work that Jesus did on the cross. So anything else that doesn't fall into that category might be open and available for us to use, but we have to examine that closely. You know, what are we using to replace? So then, I don't know if Dr. Steve has anything to add to that understanding of.
Indeed, as a pastor, Dr.
Yes,
Stevenson Samuels, as a
as a
pastor,
student
sir.
of theology.
Lovely discussion. Great discussion. Enjoying it already. Dr. Stevenson Samuels.
Boy, if I knew that this is where the discussion was going to go, especially at the start, I would just say I can't manage it.
Don't it?
This is higher than me. This is beyond me.
No, it is within your pay grade, sir. It is within it.
Let me just say, though, that, culture has, let's just, for the purpose of this discussion, say it has two dimensions to it. It has those dimensions that speak about the nature of the people that is not opposed to God. Let us say it would be those expressions of the people and behaviors of the people and lifestyles of the people that would be in alignment with the godliness and the word of God. And then you have the other segment of the culture that is opposed to godliness, let us say.
I see.
So and every culture is like that, So even some of the cultures that we have taken our faith from, those have some very anti-God and ungodly behaviors. So, for instance, I have been exposed to someone who is close to me, who, whenever they sing songs from a certain part of let me be open. Whenever they sing songs coming from certain parts of America, racism come up in their head strong, and they begin to feel a kind of negative vibe just by the rhythm that is being used and employed from that part of the United States. It's an amazing thing,
Wow.
So we have to even be careful sometimes as to how we employ other cultures within our own culture,
Definitely,
and not realizing that some of these cultures are anti-God.
Hold the thought, please. Both of you hold that thought. I know that you're on the phone, Reverend Dr. Stevenson Samuels, and that is actually a bit of a delay, but hold the thought. Listeners, please stay with us. Very interesting. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Get better coverage for yourself and your family as low as $800 a month. The time by JN Life Vest from JN Life Insurance is
$715.5.
8884 Gas Pro. That's the only number you need to know. 8884 Gas Pro. Safety first, that's for sure. We feel it right. So when you're ready to light, day or night, the blue flame burns bright. So when you time you need cooking gas, call Gas Pro and you get it fast. 8884 Gas Pro. Get attached to the one you know. Gas Pro, the gas professionals. Happiness begins at H&M. Have them lights we deliver on time. Have them grills with the brand new design. Got 15 stores, Highland wide. Got online, got Regency blinds. Got them zinc and the patio swings open every day. Boss at the hardware things, everybody sing.
Call us at 876-618-0829. WhatsApp us at 876-308-0165. Visit us online at hardwareandlumber.com or come in to any of our stores island-wide.
Jamaica's gangs are like packs of rats. They live in filth and try and drag us all in there with them, spreading the disease of violence and corruption everywhere. But like a pack of rats, they can be eliminated with your help. If you have information on gangs, call Crime Stop on 311. This message is brought to you by Crime Stop and their marketing partners, Lime and NCB.
Now more than ever, Protex reminds you to wash your hands. A 40-second hand wash with soap could help prevent COVID-19. Look for Protex at your nearest store.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the main watch, and the topic of this main watch is Jamaica 60, the Valley of Patois to evangelizing. Our guests are Joanne Richards Goff, ethno-doxologist, and Reverend Dr. Stevenson Samuels, senior pastor of the Waltham Park New Testament Church of God and chaplain of the University of Technology, Jamaica. So, in terms of the Valley of Patois to evangelizing, our ethno-doxologist, Joanne Richards Goff.
Yes, sir.
What comments do you have there? Because we, as Jamaicans, and persons from various countries around the world, may be accustomed to the gospel being delivered in English, if it's a mainly English-speaking country, or if it's Spanish-speaking in Spanish, as the case may be. Mm-hmm. Chinese, in maybe, in Mandarin, or,
Cantonese.
Whichever, mm-hmm. Cantonese, whichever, is the dominant language in that area. So in terms of the value of patois to evangelizing in Jamaica, help us there.
Okay, so what I can do is to tell you of an experience I had.
Sure.
I got a map that was put out to show the levels of evangelization in different countries across the world, in all the countries. And I looked for Jamaica to see if they got that Jamaica was a Christian country or just that we were fully evangelized, because, we are said to have the most churches per square mile in the world, it is said. Anyway, strangely and shockingly, Jamaica was listed as being under evangelized. And when I contacted the people who put the map together to ask them where they got the information from, they said, well, they used one criterion to determine what status to assign each country. And that was this. They asked the question, is the word of God available to the majority of people in a language that they understand at a heart level? And they knew that, number one, the majority of Jamaicans' heart language is Jamaican, or what we have grown up to call patois. And they also knew that we did not have the scriptures in our language. And so, as a result, they had us as being under evangelized. And I was very upset, because I say, is what the people must say, so we don't understand English, and, just saying, here are some foreigners who think they know us and don't, until I had a personal experience in which, using the Jamaican translation of the Prodigal Son alongside the New International Version, and seeing the difference in the response of the people, and then hearing one woman say to me that she doesn't think in English, she think in a patois, and every time she hears something in English, she have to take her time and process it to figure out what it mean. And while she do that, Holy pass up my pass her by. And to tell you the honest truth, since that day, there has been a fire in my belly and in my bones to deliver the word of God to the people who speak and understand Jamaican in the Jamaican language.
Very interesting. Now, Reverend Dr. Samuels, you have been a pastor, and I don't know in what language you preach your sermons, but in light of what Joanne Richards Goff just said, how do you think that can affect or impact preaching, and in what language?
Right. Very good question. So I think the preacher is confronted with two issues. One is the kind of respect that is given to what he is saying, and also an understanding of what he's saying. It's a tricky little thing, you know. So Jamaicans understand English. There's no doubt about that. But the other thing with it is that we have grown up to regard English as the better way to communicate, and we have been fed a diet. We are being fed a diet of English every single day on this station right now. Where me and you talk English, we are talking. You understand? And
you see me?
Say that again.
You see me?
Yeah, you see it. And so
I can speak Jamaican too, you know. I know all the modern slangs. Trust me. Go ahead.
So what you find now is that we have been forced into respecting English language and regarding it as the official language of the people. So,
I'm glad you went there, because technically that is what it is. English is the official language of the people. Our laws are in English.
Absolutely.
So many things are in English. If there's an event at King's House, it's going to be spoken in English. Gordon House. Continue, Reverend.
Right. So if you want to impact a people, you also have to be aware of what they respect and what they regard and what they honor and what they see as official. All right.
I'm glad you went there, Reverend, because I know that I'm sort of intervening. So when the person listening to the pastor preaching, or they're listening to an evangelist evangelizing to them, maybe on the street, etc., how are they perceiving the person speaking to them if they speak one in English or two in Jamaican? We did hear the experience of Joanne Richards Goff, but let us take it beyond that one experience, because there could be other people who have different perceptions. How do you think people are perceiving the evangelizer, so to speak, or the preacher, when the person speaks either in English or Jamaican? Are they taking the person as seriously when they speak in Jamaican, or they take them more seriously when they're speaking in English? Reverend Dr. Stevenson Samuels?
Right. Very good question. So when the preacher preaches in English, people say, "What? Him official, him dignified, him know what go on, him understand what I say." And we attach all of those, in high class, all of those things, we attach.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. And maybe that is culture. That's how we are trained culturally to perceive it.
Absolutely.
If I may. All right, let me finish. Let me wait till you finish.
Yeah, when we speak in Patois now, we say no. Oh, Missy, where am I say? Why, where am I say sound? All righty. Why are they shooting? I tell you, why we believe, all of those hard kind of things we are saying. So for me, a preacher that is going to be very effective in Jamaica has to be able to speak in English and also chat Jamaican. And when he's doing the two things are happening within the system and the spirit of the person. They are respecting the person, and so they understand what they say, but they are also saying, me understand what I say. And you need those two things.
All right, I get you. I can say that on morning watch this morning. Yeah, man, me get you. Okay, back to English now. Joanne Richards Goff, you want to say?
So you want me to speak English now? Okay, I will speak English.
No. Whatever language you wish to speak.
No, you said back to English. Okay.
Well, no, that was for me. That was
All right.
you can use whatever
All right.
language you want to.
Okay, so there are a couple things that were said that I would want to respond to. Number one, the comment was made that every Jamaican understands English. And I would really like to challenge that with the recognition that there are different levels of comprehension.
I see.
Different levels of understanding.
I see.
So I'm not going to go deeper now because I'm watching the time.
Only because of time,
yes. The other thing I would want to say is remember that our regard for English was learned.
Yes.
It was taught to us that English is the language. Yes. And Jamaican, or what we grew up calling patois, is not even a language. It is degrading to use that way of communication, and it shows you up as being unintelligent. You know, these are the things we were taught about those two languages.
Arguably less so in 2022 than before, but I get the point.
A little less, but what I want to say is we were taught those things by our oppressors, by our colonizers. We are able to unlearn and relearn. We are able to teach ourselves different things about these languages and about language in general. So that was the second thing I'd want to say. The third thing,
I think we're almost out of time, so quickly.
Yes. So let me quickly say that many people still don't know that the majority of the New Testament was written in Street Greek, not the official language, not the English, but the patois. And God, when we come into his space, in no business about what people think about we. He wants to reach our hearts and he wants us to communicate with him from our hearts. Right? So it worse say the people them the level of comprehension on a wide scale of English, just like that woman. I don't think she was a standalone who said she don't think in a English, she think in a patois. A plenty of we can say the same thing, and some are unfortunately ashamed to say it.
Have to hold it there for today, only because of time. This is so interesting. I want to thank Reverend Dr. Samuels and Mrs. Richards Goff for a very interesting segment. And clearly, I think it's something that's worth revisiting. But I really enjoyed this segment with both of you. Thank you for your time and for your thoughts. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised.
Talk to Jane Bank today to find out about achieving your own sweet home in 30 days. The time by Jane Bank Mortgage is
7:30 and a half.
Juicy party them double up the choices, and we know say you a go like it. And you face start your morning and fright with a cup of porridge full of a beer niceness. Two combination, which one we try first? When you a go to school or you a go to work, forward we double can't fit twice the flavor. Or could have the pecan you end up a paper. Try our pecan porridge, that's peanut mixed with hominy, or our double corn porridge, that's hominy mixed with cornmeal. Try it today at Juicy Patties, available at participating stores.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Already 20 years the Cameron there? Hace 20 años en Jamaica? Thank you, our valued customers and industry partners. You made it possible.
Come celebrate this significant milestone with us at any of our 3 properties: Royal Decameron Club Caribbean, Montego Beach, and Cornwall Beach.
Call us today at 876-973-5600 or visit us at www.decameron.com. Let's celebrate the next 20 years together at Decameron's all-inclusive hotels and resorts.
It's independence once again, and that means celebration. And Virgil's big Independence Day sale. Get 10% off Virgil Everglow, 303, 404, Royale, Weatherproof, and more. Don't miss out on Virgil's big savings in every drop. Visit your nearest hardware or the color shop now. Happy 60th Independence, Jamaica. Berger, for lasting beauty and protection.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Thanks for staying with us. Let's take a look now at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. A quick look at the Gleaner. Here we have 3-year search for mechanical tech teacher continues at Marcus Garvey. Continues at Marcus Garvey, that being Marcus Garvey Technical. We move over to the Jamaica Observer. Majestic Gardens to be renamed. And the caption above that is wrong address. Written by Alicia Dunkley Willis. We go over to Loop News Jamaica. ARC Properties to contribute housing units under NSHP. Under NSHP. Those and many other stories in our various news sources. And of course, coming up next, we'll have feedback from our social media question, Facebook, WhatsApp. The question is, in which language would you prefer to hear sermons? Patois or English? If you haven't done so yet, leave a comment on our Facebook or YouTube Love One FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp comments and voice notes too. 876-997-3125 using hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll be right back.
Love 101, the family station, invites you to Tech Time Drive. You can hear reminders and tips on why you should Tech Time Drive. On Tuesdays, Tech Time Drive is brought to you by Bert's Auto Parts. It hurts if you don't check Bert's. And on Wednesdays, Tech Time Drive is brought to you by AIM Financial Corporation Limited. AIM Financial Corporation has a loan for every purpose. Tech Time Drive, a bulletin of the road safety tips to help you keep safe and your head sound while driving. You only have one life. Drive it well. Tech Time Drive on the family station, Love 101.
Sometimes all we need is a listening ear. The listening ear, the counseling, the logical reasoning, and spiritual guidance are what appeal to us. That's why I'm here. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, the counselor, your counselor on Love 101 FM, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. You know you can call on me. I will listen and more. So let's talk about what's bothering you. Anything. Tune in, listen, call in, text or voice message. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, counseling psychologist, ready with a listening ear. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. Right here on the family station, Love 101 FM.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Let's join DJ for a look at how our Facebook and WhatsApp friends answer today's question. In which language would you prefer to hear sermons, Patois or English? What are people saying, DJ?
Karen, a soldier for Christ, says on Facebook, it doesn't matter how the pastor sounds, It is a message that touches the hearts. When you patronize, I didn't know that was a word, it sometimes misses the mark because not everybody understands a certain slangs, but it doesn't matter how you talk, it is a message that is important.
Interesting,
Yes.
interesting.
Kadeen
Only that one
Levy,
so far?
no, we have some on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Kadeen Levy says it can be both as long as there is clarity. Sometimes you definitely have to use both to get your point across. Monica says there are persons, Christians, who are anti Jamaican language, which is patois, the Bible being used, which is the patois Bible being used in church. Recently, a pastor spoke at a funeral, and a Jamaican viewing overseas called the church most distressed and seemingly embarrassed that he spoke Jamaican because her foreign friends did not understand. Monica says she understands both Jamaican and English. Faith from Washington Gardens says, I don't mind a combined style. I really have no preference. Just want the sermon to be true, solid, and effective. I believe I have two more. Marie from Yonkers, New York. If people have difficulty understanding English, I think places like churches and official meetings there, English is mostly spoken. They should have a translator. And Nicole says, both are needed.
The translator point is very interesting.
That's my thought too. But I guess everybody's saying that the message is what is important.
Yes, yes, yes. The translator point would have helped where the person was at church with their foreign friends.
Right. Yes.
That would have helped
That
there.
would have been helpful.
Very, very, very interesting. We move right into the second watch. Thanks, Deidre. We move right into the second watch. Now, in about July, the Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, reiterated that the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, would soon be divested of its current responsibility to collect garbage. And the NSWMA is to focus solely on its role as a regulator. And apparently the arrangements for this are advancing. And with the Riverton City dump being decommissioned, what will garbage collection and disposal look like in the near future? Well, we have on the line today to help us discuss this, unravel this, O'Neill Gordon-Smith, Administrative Director of Garbage Disposal and Sanitation Systems Limited, a private entity, and Mr. Michael Diamond, President of Consumers Intervention Jamaica. Mr. Diamond and Gordon-Smith, good morning.
Good morning.
That sounds like Mr. Gordon-Smith. Mr. Diamond?
Yes, this is Mr. Gordon-Smith, yes.
Yes, Mr. Diamond.
Morning to one and all is well.
All right, we have both of you now.
Good morning, how you doing?
I think Mr. Diamond was listening to the first or watching the first watch, right? About the Jamaican language.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, that's the word, my boss. Okay, I go back to English now for this segment. Now, I welcome you, Mr. Gordon-Smith. I am familiar with you from elsewhere, but you're here today in your capacity as Administrative Director of your company. Very interesting. This matter of the NSWMA, as it were, reverting to or going to focus solely on its regulatory role. So what is in terms of the role and operations of a private garbage collector today? My apologies. In terms of the role and operations of a private garbage collector today, what are we to expect? I mean, island-wide. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Gordon-Smith, because you have been in this business, or your company has been in this business for quite some time. Mr. Gordon-Smith?
Yes, I am here.
Yes. Any comments in terms of the role and operations?
So the truth is, the private sector has been collecting waste for
a long time,
commercial and industrial and residential entities for decades.
Yes, yeah, that is true.
Garbage disposal commenced activities in 1973, and we were not the first.
Yes.
So this is something that the private sector is more than capable of handling, and more than capable of handling well.
Yes.
So as far as what to expect from the private sector assuming or taking on this role of collecting the waste island-wide, you should expect to see an improvement in the service delivery.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Any comments as to why you have indicated you should expect to see an improvement in the service delivery, if you will, Mr. Gordon-Smith?
Well, my personal belief is that governments worldwide are not equipped to run profit or revenue-generating exercises or tasks. They are more geared towards dealing with crises, taking care of the population, and putting the infrastructure in place so that the private sector can in fact prosper. When you put them in charge of something that requires efficiencies and management, what ends up happening is it ends up showing the lack of expertise, I guess, that a government must have. The first and foremost is the government aid entity, in this case, the Solid Waste Management Authority, starts out with a budget of a certain amount of cash, which they are required to spend. All of it. While the private sector, they look at how am I going to earn the money to carry out these activities and still make a profit.
Yes, so it's a different sort of mindset. Maybe not necessarily only expertise, but a mindset.
It's a different mindset. Yeah.
Hold that thought, Mr.
Even
Gordon.
with the expertise, it's a different mindset.
Hold that thought. I want to bring in Mr. Diamond before the break. Michael Diamond, any thoughts on what Mr. Gordon Smith just said? Have we lost him, Michael Diamond?
Are you hearing me now?
Now we are hearing you. Go ahead before we head to
okay. Yes. Much of what you shared already, I do share those same sentiments.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is that the way garbage or waste collection has been handled by the government all these years has totally been in opposite of what is supposed to happen, and that is the reason why we have consistent complaints, the inefficiency, and really and truly the lack of policies that can implement to bring about proper garbage disposal. Now, we actually have the regulator attempting to do the same business to which they're supposed to be regulating.
Hold that thought, Michael Diamond, because we are now upon the break. Listeners, please stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
In need of a loan? AIM Financial is the place to go. We have loans from $20,000 to $3.3 million. Get a loan to pay school or college tuition, medical expenses, bills, fix up your house, buy furniture and appliances, repair or buy a car. And when you're done, take a vacation loan. AIM has a loan for any purpose. Call AIM today. You won't find a better deal elsewhere. Guaranteed.
Keep fully connected with Flow Fiber Fast Internet at home and on the road with LTE data and calls for a fast, reliable experience anywhere. Over 500 communities have been upgraded since 2020, making more of Jamaica Flow Fiber Fast. And with Yard and Road, get Flow Fiber Faster Yard and LTE Road for as low as $3,999 plus GCT. Visit discoverflow.co to get connected on Jamaica's largest network. Conditions apply.
Colgate Triple Action. 3 benefits for a deep clean. As a mother, you always want to give the best to your family and to make them happy. With Colgate Triple Action, you give them 3 reasons to smile. Cavity protection, whiter teeth, and fresh breath. A unique formula with a minty flavor they will love. Colgate Triple Action. Find it at your favorite store.
Want a birthday gift? Oreo is celebrating 110 years and giving you the gift. From August 2, buy any 5 Oreo products, expiration no earlier than August 2, and you could unwrap and have a chance to win over 1 million in cash and prizes. You have 3 ways to enter. Upload receipts to OreoPromotions.com, mail entries to Oreo 110 birthday promotion and send to PO Box 2000 CSO, or drop entries along with contact information in boxes at participating stores. Grand draw October 14, 2022. Oreo, stay playful. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Thanks for staying with us. We're having a very interesting discussion here in this second watch. We're speaking to O'Neill Gordon-Smith, Administrative Director, Garbage Disposal and Sanitation Systems Limited, and Michael Diamond, President, Consumers Intervention Jamaica. The topic is, in this second watch, garbage going private. Garbage going private, including the whole matter of the decommissioning of the Riverton City dump. Before we went to the break, Mr. Diamond, you were making a very important point. And whilst you continue your comment or continue your thought, I want to pose this question as well. Now, if you have a particular mindset, as we alluded to, well, I put the word to Mr. Gordon-Smith, if you have a particular mindset as an implementer, will your mindset really change or be better as a regulator or policymaker solely? Well, I think regulator more applicable to an NSWMA. Continue, Mr. Diamond.
Yes, absolutely. The fact of the matter is, it is not possible for you to be regulator and operator because there's no accountability. No one is going to penalize themselves. So what happens is that the way that the entity was actually established was to be a regulator. Now they failed to create a system, whereas, as Mr. Neal mentioned, for the private sector or for garbage collection to be a sector that is regulated by government rather than attempting to be operated by government. Now, we're using the expression mindset. It's not really mindset, it's a matter of agenda. As the government, you have an agenda based upon your mandate. Now, as a private sector, your agenda is also to, of course, you're an enterprise, but you must also stay within the boundaries of regulations. So if in fact that you are in breach, sanctions can occur, competition can occur, and we can have a more structured infrastructure for the collection and proper disposal of waste. So the idea of it is that the removal of the regulator is something that should have happened a long time ago. And while it is welcoming, remember, these and other pronouncements are also very politically aligned. So we have to see whether or not this is actually another political promise or it's an actual thing that is going to manifest itself.
Well, when I said mindset, when I posed the last question to you, Mr. Diamond, I should have said mindset in inverted commas or in apostrophes. But anyway, thank you for that. In fact, I agree with your point on the mindset. It's really about the agenda of the entity. Now, as we move on here, sirs, now, possible disruptions, challenges, policy structure, implications for private customers with new arrangements. What are the pros and cons, in other words, of having garbage collection being done solely by the private sector? Are there any pros and cons to that? I mean, we know that there are going to be benefits. We heard Mr. Gordon-Smith, but any things on the downside that, things that may not go necessarily right? From a consumer's angle, any thoughts on that, Mr. Diamond, before we...
The thing is, this is a win-win for all.
Yes.
The reality is that once this sector is created, there will be regulations that will improve upon how the workers operate, the type of gear and protection that they will have. And it will also be a good response to the environment, how we environmentally treat this waste, because now we're putting in the professionals and holding them accountable. So this is really a win-win. And of course, proper maintenance of equipment, etc. This is a part of the private enterprises, which they make routine versus what we are experiencing right now. So this is really a win-win. And the only disadvantage is that it may not be implemented as promised. That's the only thing I see as a disadvantage at this point.
Why do you think? Why do you wonder about that?
Because we've seen in other areas where there are many promises, where the Riverton City disposal site currently is, it should not have been there in the first place. Now
Exactly, that's true.
the challenge of moving it is not simply one, two, three, let's just move it. The reality is there is no comprehensive framework for the proper disposal of waste in Jamaica. So it's not just where will you move it to? So the idea of it is that promises, 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 but when can these things actually be properly implemented?
Mr. Gordon Smith, you have outlined the benefits of going private. What are some of the things that a private company would want to guard against to make sure they maintain that service level, that service delivery at a high standard? Mr. Gordon Smith. I hope we haven't lost O'Neill Gordon Smith. Are you with us, sir? Mr. Diamond, are you still with us?
Yes, man. And just to add, I can tell you that, remember, as a private person, you're going to be subjected to lawsuits. Bringing lawsuits against the government is not necessarily something that can happen overnight. But as a private person, you will be subjected to lawsuit. You'll be subjected to sanctions from the regulator. So there's a higher, greater demand for you to do things the right way. Now,
I wanted to raise something with Mr. Gordon Smith as well in terms of the whole matter of equipment for workers, and in some countries, for instance, they separate garbage, in terms of which types of garbage go where. I wanted to get his angle on that too, but we're not seeming to hear him. I think he's online, but for some reason we're not hearing him. Oh, you're on. Oh, great, Mr. Gordon Smith. Great.
Okay, hearing me now. Okay.
We're hearing you now. What are some of the things as an employer of persons in that sector and in providing private garbage services you have to guard against to ensure that you maintain that high standard of service delivery? First of all, that question.
I don't consider it about as guarding against. It's more along the lines of what you should be doing to take care of your employees and to ensure that they are happy being in a part of the entity and to keep the morale up.
Let me drill down to something quickly, Mr. Gordon Smith, because this is something that people experience. Garbage trucks will pass through a particular location. They empty the rubbish bin, rubbish bags, whatever. They put them in the truck, and you have your automatic thing that ensures the garbage is properly stored in the truck. And then they just throw the garbage bin on the ground, or they put it in the middle of the driveway. These are some of the things that private customers are concerned about. Another issue we have experienced, persons can't know exactly which day a garbage truck is coming to collect the garbage. So if you knew it was every Monday or every Friday, you would plan to put the garbage out on that day. Now you have to be doing a sort of cat and mouse. When are they going to come? Are they going to come today? Are they going to come tomorrow? That's what people experience now. If it is a completely private arrangement with only private players, what would you be indicating to persons that they should be looking forward to experiencing? You can't speak for the entire sector, but as someone in the sector.
No, I can't speak for the entire sector on this matter, actually.
Okay.
Because what happens is that market forces are at play. Service quality is at play. So if the client, and the client might be a household, if they are really upset with the service that they are getting from the provider, at the next iteration of contract provision, they can insist that certain people not be included in the evaluation exercise. So this forces the private sector to, in fact, have a high standard of service delivery.
I see.
So all those issues that you are relaying to what people are experiencing now really goes back to what Michael said, and you as well, in terms of the agenda of the entity and what it is that they are trying to accomplish.
Understood.
So yes, they want to collect the waste, but do they want to collect the waste in a timely, efficient manner?
Yes. I want to make a little distinction just for the benefit of the listeners as well. We know that a lot of commercial entities will hire a private garbage collection company to collect their solid waste. They come and they fetch it, it's taken away, and the private garbage collection company is paid. The average person living in their residence, wherever that is, whether it's an apartment, townhouse, or house, wherever, they are accustomed to trucks passing through. So those trucks that are passing through would now be contracted to a government entity. In other words, how is a private garbage collector paid for collecting household waste?
All right. So property tax. The property taxes pay for waste collection, road maintenance, street light, etc. So the government is going to pay the private sector, the private entity to collect the waste through the proceeds from, or part proceeds of the profit tax.
I see.
Property tax, sorry.
Property tax. Yes, we understand what you mean, sir. Mr. Diamond, we're almost out of time already. Now, what final thoughts would both of you like to leave with us going forward? Because we would like to see improvement. Any final thoughts you wanted to leave with us, Mr. Diamond and Mr. Smith? Mr. Diamond.
Absolutely. The thing is, the way our behavior towards trash and garbage is very poor, very poor. So we need to improve upon the education and information of that. To most of us are only responsible for putting trash in some receptacle. We have no thought or care where it goes after that. So we need to know what systems are in place and how we can strengthen that by doing the right things. Our behavior has a lot to do with how garbage is disposed of. So one of the things we need to know is that the regulator currently was not responsible for collecting commercial garbage. So a lot of times we just believe that all garbage are the same. It is not. So we need more information, education, and public awareness, and we need to be better at how we treat garbage.
Gordon Smith, have to leave it there, Mr. Diamond. Mr. Gordon Smith, any final word in a second or two?
Other than I completely agree with Mr. Diamond on everything you just said. There's nowhere we're going to get to waste separation for recycling and repurposing without changing the mindset of the population of the country.
Have to leave it there this morning. I want to thank both Mr. Diamond and Mr. Gordon Smith. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. And visit the Love 101 FM YouTube channel and Facebook page for this and all other Love 101 FM programs. And of course, listen to the Morning Watch on our Love 101 app and download it today and stay connected to the family station, Love 101 FM, the number 4 station in the island and the number 1 gospel station. This in Jamaica. This has been the Morning Watch. Have a blessed weekend. Join Reverend Dr. Dylan Toussaint next week when he'll continue to discuss other topical and controversial issues. And of course, thanks for producer Kathy Gill and our guests. I am Stokeley Marsh and hanging back to Love in the Morning with Deidre Parchment.
The NHF is here for you, helping